So Google just released a brand new capability in their Gemini 3 Flash model, and it is called Agentic Vision. So now if you ask a question that, hey, what is that tiny little label of an image? Gemini is going to write and execute a Python code to actually zoom in, probably crop, draw bounding boxes, etc. on that specific image before it can come back and give you the answer. Think about it for a second. Right now, if you ask that question, every AI model is going to look at that image once. And most likely, if it is going to miss that small detail, especially if you're asking, like, what is the serial number or what is the tiny label on that image, it is probably going to hallucinate. Gemini's agentic vision changes that. The model can now investigate the image just like a detective. Google is actually reporting a 5 to 10% quality boost just by enabling this one setting. You know what? Let me first show you that, and then we will get into how they have made this possible. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so I'm in my Google AI Studio, and Google has already shipped a sample app where we are able to see all of these interesting scenarios. So I'm just going to open it up here, and you can see that these are all different scenarios that they have, which leverages this latest agentic vision. So I'm going to open this particular up where we have an image like this over here. And the question which is being asked is, what is the number which is on the gauge? Zoom in if needed, right? So once you provide this, then Gemini first thinks, and then it automatically creates this Python code, which is the brand new thing which they have come up with. And it is going to automatically crop the image. And you can see that they've done a good job in terms of identifying, first of all, where is the image, where is the gauge. In this case, it has done it twice, and it is coming up with a particular answer, and it appears to be 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So what you just saw is something which has never been done before, which is writing the code on the fly, depending on the question that you have asked. Now, let's look at another question, which I think will benefit a lot of us, which is make a bar chart per category performance. And if you give like an image like this, which we have seen a lot of images like this, right, which are available in any of the papers that we read, technical papers, etc., right? So this is where it is doing a bunch of calculation. You're also asking it to do a lot of interesting stuff. So first it'll think, and then based on that, it is going to then evaluate what is the kind of code that it needs to generate. And then it is going to come back and create that code. So here you see that this is the executable code that it just wrote on the fly, and it is able to create this particular dashboard, right? So this particular bar chart. So this is really super cool, and this is really extending the limitation of what Gemini 3 can do. This is brand new, and it'll be very interesting to see how people use it on a day-to-day basis, specifically for use cases like this, where it's very hard for you to notice. So for example, like what is the number on the ESMT chip? And this is where you can see immediately that it has gone ahead and identify where is the ESMT chip, and it is able to figure out the visual information, and it is able to provide that exact number. So it is almost guaranteed that this is not going to hallucinate, because you can also see it visually what is happening on the fly, and it is able to find that answer for you. So that was the quick demo. Now let's try and understand how exactly it is doing this so that it is crystal clear. And I will also share with you some of the resources that you can use to build applications using this today. All right, so let's get into it. So Agentic Vision really is empowered by a think, act, and observe loop. And we actually saw that in action, right? So we asked a question, we uploaded an image, and we asked a question by text, which was, hey, I want to understand what is the serial number on that particular chip, right? So that question went to the agent, and then the agent first thought through, even in the second demo that we saw, where it created the bar chart, it didn't immediately start writing code. It actually thought through that. So that is the think one. And then it will go ahead and do a tool call, which is the code execution on images. And then the tool's response will come back, and then a combination of the response and the initial question will be the output. So that is what really happens. So it is a think, act, observe loop, which is happening under the hood. And they've given some other examples as well, right? For example, here we're talking about an image annotation, how many fingers are there? And then you can actually see the codes. First, it is analyzing it, and then it provides the response back. And there are some other examples as well. Now, you can see here, you can get access to this via the Gemini API directly. So we looked at it in the AI Studio, but if you want to build your own app leveraging this, you can actually, it's already there in Gemini API. And here they've actually provided some guidance on how you can get started. I'll actually take you through the documentation directly here. And you can see that this is the new stuff that has been added now, code execution with images in Gemini 3. These are the three use cases that they've clearly called out. The key part here is you can now call this particular tool as part of the Gemini 3 Flash model, and then you can ask it any kind of question, right? And these are the sort of input and output that you will look into, right? Then obviously there are some other details around the input and output in terms of the maximum runtime, etc., which you're more than welcome to look. But then the key aspect really here is the different use cases that they have talked about. But really, ultimately, it is this specific tool call, which is a brand new addition as part of understanding images, right? So hopefully this is clear and you can see that this is already released and you can access it directly today in both AI Studio or via the documentation in the Gemini API and build something yourself. So that was the Agentic Vision, which is Google's new capability in Gemini 3 Flash that lets the model write Python code to see better, right? 5 to 10% quality boost. That is really going to be a game changer, and it is available today in the Gemini app. If you're building anything that involves document processing or something around that, this is something you should definitely check out. So as always, please let me know in the comment section if you have any questions related to this. I'll put all of these links in the description so that you can also have a look. And of course, if this added value to you, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you once again for your time. I will see you in the next one.